guys, it's your turn. I'm your host Marco. This is Bryn.
Nice.
This is episode 4 that we're on, and today we have a nice, pleasant worker placement game for you. Clans of Caledonia. If you guys did not see this on Kickstarter, I believe it was last year, right?
It was last year, yeah.
We have it here for you today. I'm going to let Bryn take over from here to teach you how to play, and then we're going to dive right in.
That's right, and clearly I haven't taught the game yet because this is not a worker placement game.
That's right. My bad.
Actually, here at It's Your Turn, our goal is to teach you games, play games with you, and talk about topics that you care about. And we'll be doing a little bit of that today on the show. We're actually going to discuss a topic. We're going to discuss whether or not game publishers are exploiting you, the backers, on Kickstarter. But that'll come up in a little bit. Let's go ahead and learn how to play Clans of Caledonia. So in Clans of Caledonia, the point of the game is to earn the most victory points via, I believe they call it, glory. What we're looking at here is the main victory point tracker, as well as the market. We're going to focus here first. Now, as you might have already expected, I'll be playing the red player, and Mark will be playing the blue player. Okay? During the game's going to be played over the course of 5 different rounds. At the end of each round, we're going to resolve a scoring tile, which tells us how much glory we earn for doing the task at the top of the tile. At the end of each round, we're going to flip over the tile to show that we've completed that, and when all 5 tiles are flipped over, we'll do a final scoring phase. The primary ways we gain points in the game is through the production of resources, which I'll get to in just a minute. We use those resources to fulfill what are called export contracts. These are right here. Now, an export contract has, on the right side, I guess it's left side, I'm looking at it backwards here, it has a requirement. It has goods that it needs, okay? So, for instance, this here is an export contract. It requires 4 cheese. Once you've been able to accomplish the export contract, you can turn it in and gain the benefits on the left. Now, all these benefits are a little bit different, and we'll go through what they mean. But in general, what you're looking for are goods types. So right here, we'll see on this one, and this one, and this one, we have hops. That's this little green thing. At the end of the game, every contract that you've completed with hops on it is worth 1 point per hops. So if I had completed these 2 contracts by the end of the game, I would have 8 hops, which means I'd gain 8 in-game victory points. But the primary way we gain victory points are through cotton, tobacco, and sugar. Excuse me, that's tobacco, that's sugar, okay? Let me show you how that works. When I complete an export contract like this one, notice how it has 3 cotton. I'll take the cotton and I'll move it up 3 spaces on the track, okay? As other people complete cotton as well, it'll keep moving the cotton around the track. Similarly, if I were to complete this one, which is tobacco, it would move up 2. And if I were to complete this one, which is sugarcane, it'd be worth 2 as well. At the end of the game, whichever resource type is the lowest, for instance, in this case, tobacco, it'll score, showing down here, 5 points per existence you have of that type on a contract. So let's just use an example. Let's say I scored this contract earlier in the game, okay? At the end of the game, these 2 tobacco are going to be worth 5 points each because tobacco is the lowest item on the list here, on the track. If I were to have finished this cotton contract right here, which says 4 cotton, cotton's the highest spot on the contract, so it's worth the fewest number of points at 3, so I'd score 12 points from this contract. Basic goods at the end of the game are worth 1 point, and produced goods are worth 2 points in the game, and money is worth some points as well. So the primary way in which we fulfill these export contracts and gain them is through our player board, but there's a few actions I want to show you that we can do right now, and for that we're going to go to the market. During the game, you'll be playing actions until you pass your turn, much like Gaia Project or Terra Mystica. One of the things that you can do, one of the first actions you can do to gain resources, is every player has access to 2 merchants. These cubes are your colors, they represent merchants. Merchants can be used to either purchase or sell goods. So if I were to take my merchant and place it here on the bread, I would spend 10 gold. Everything in this game uses gold. I would use 10 gold, spend that, and I would gain 1 bread. Let me grab a bread to show you bread, okay? Then what would happen, because I bought 1 bread, the market would change. Now bread is even more expensive to buy, to purchase it. Is that what I'm doing right? Yeah, that's right, okay. And I can also sell it for more now as well. See, as we move the purchase track up, it gets more expensive to buy, but you also can sell it for more. Similarly, if I were to take this bread and let's say I had it before the game began, and sell one bread, I would get 10 gold for it, the bread would go away, and then this would move down a space, right? Now here's the cool thing, with my merchants, with one action, I can take multiple merchants and place them on the same spot. By doing so, I could buy 2 bread at 10, and then the bread would shift down to being a cost of 8 per turn. Similarly, if I were to sell 2 bread, I would gain 20, and then bread would move up 2 spaces. One of the things that's illegal in the game is for me to at any point buy something and then sell it in the same round. There's nothing wrong with me buying, say, bread, and then later on selling some cheese. It doesn't matter. And there's ways in the game to get more merchants. That's one of the actions, is to manipulate the market. And it's called trading, buying or selling resources. The next major action you can do in the game, let me just move this over here. The next major action you can do in the game is you can actually take one of these export contracts. Now when you take an export contract, there's usually a cost involving it. I would literally take this and move it to my tableau. I choose which one I want, and it doesn't refill until the end of the round. So these are kind of exclusive and limited. The round, you'll notice over here, has a number next to it. It'll have black numbers and red numbers. If you ever see a black number on coins, that's how many coins you gain. If you ever see a red number on coins, that's how many coins it costs. So in round 1, export contracts, any of them that you pick up, you're going to gain 5 coins. Now the trick is you can only hold 1 per turn, so you can't just pick them all up gaining 5 coins each time. You actually have to fulfill them before you can replace them. In future rounds, you'll see that they get more and more expensive as the game progresses. So one of the other actions I can do is I can take an export contract. Another action I can do before I get to the main board is I can take an export contract that I've completed and fulfill it. Now I would take this out of my active, and I'll actually show that in just a moment, but I would be able to gain whatever the benefits are right here for it, and it would open me up to being able to take a new export contract. So with that, let's go show the main board, both the game board and your player board, to be able to show you how all this works. So as you can see here, we've got, in just a minute here, we've got the main board here, right here, that actually is much bigger, but we're going to zoom in a little bit on some of the features here. This is where you'll be doing all of your building and expanding. Over here on your player board, this is where you'll be getting all of your resources. Much like Gaia Project and Terra Mystica, as you take items off of your board, you gain access to benefits like this one, and of course you can place it on the board to show that it's built and that you can use its benefit. So let's go over what they do. In the game, first of all, notice that there's 6 different resource types in addition to money. Everything in this game involves money, and unfortunately, Marco's got these awesome metal coins for this game, which you can purchase separately, which are beautiful. They're just great. They're just gorgeous. And of course, the wooden pieces as well here. So we've got wool, which is created from sheep, milk, which is created from cows, cheese, which is created from a dairy, can't remember what it's called, like a dairy factory. You've got bread from a bakery, wheat from fields, and then whiskey from distilleries, right? So during the game, I'm going to have the opportunity to buy these. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a small, little, tiny cost here. That one specifically says 10 gold. So if I wanted to build this distillery, it would cost me 10 gold. It would cost me 18 gold to be able to build this, this field, and so on. I can also build workers. Workers actually, at the end of each round, produce money for me. Whereas the goods, like for instance, this sheep, would produce for me a wool, right? And it's maybe a little hard to see from that angle. Let me just do this. You can see a little better there. As you can see, it's got wool on it. You can produce wool from it. But we take from the top to the bottom for a reason. These guys actually produce money for me. Now, miners produce 6 coins a turn, and foresters produce 4 coins a turn. So there's rules as far as where these can go. Let's start with a forester. A forester, and I'll show you on the main map here, can only go in a forest space, like this one, right? This is also a forest space it could go, for instance. And if a space contains more than one resource type, whether it be mountains, plains, and forest, it can actually go there because it has a forest space. Now, each hex can only contain 1 unit no matter what it is, whether it be mine or Marco's. All it shows based on the terrain types is what's allowed to be placed there. So only foresters can be placed in forests, okay? Miners, like this one, can be placed on mountains. Now, once it's placed, the workers are the same token, but where it's at tells you, what it is, basically. All the other types you have, whether it be the auxiliaries or the fields, are placed specifically on these opened plains areas here. So I showed you before that this has all 3 types. You can just as easily put that there to represent for the plains is you could put a forester there or a miner there for that space. So during the game, one of the things that you can do is called expand. Now at the beginning of the game, we'll have a couple of, I'll just put some out here, we'll have a couple of starting workers that'll be in play. Now when you expand, it means you're going to take something from your player board and put it onto the game map. There's some rules for that, and it has a lot to do with shipping. So first of all, you can always build adjacent to an existing space that doesn't cross water. So if I wanted to build, say, this field in this space, I would pay the 18 gold for the field based on your playmat, plus the 6 gold it costs to build in this space for a total of 24 gold. Once done, that's there. And the production phase, I'll start producing wheat. Okay, in future rounds, maybe, or in future actions, maybe I'll play something like the bread, like the bakery. The bakery normally costs 8 gold on your player mat, and then it also costs 4 gold to place it here. So as you can see, we can build adjacent to our existing segments. What about rivers? Well, let's go back to the board for a moment. On your player board, you'll see that you have a shipping track here at the bottom. And we'll focus on this for just a second. At the beginning, you can only build what's adjacent, okay? But in the future, as you raise your technology, you'll be able to build over rivers. You'll be able to build 1 water space away, 2 water spaces away, and so on. Now, this matters a lot because this is how you traverse the map. It also matters a lot for in-game scoring, which I haven't got to quite yet as far as the final 2 conditions for winning. Okay? So at the beginning, though, you do start with this. In order to raise technology, you have to actually take an action to do that. So since I've shown a little bit of expansion, let me talk about the techs, because that's another action you can do. Everything along the bottom is considered a technology in some way. I can hire another merchant. He costs 4 gold. And once I've taken him off the board, I now have access to him to be able to use him on the market. I can raise my shipping. It costs 4 gold. That's a full action. One of the big things I can do that's really useful in the game is upgrade my tools. So right now you'll see, and I'm going to pick this up to show you, you'll see that that each, I'll just pick them all up, that each worker, each forester produces 4 gold for every forester you have. And the game's really nice. It says if you've got all 4 out, you gain 16 coins, right, for having that. But notice there's a number over here on the side. If I were to spend 10 gold and upgrade this tech from these axes to these hand saws, right, I would use the right side of it. Whereas now I get 6 gold per worker each turn, up to a max of 24. So you can spend 10 gold and flip these over to be able to upgrade them. They're just upgraded one time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place these over here for just a minute. Okay. Okay, great. So we've covered a little bit about how you build on the map, how you upgrade your techs. We've talked about that you can sell things or trade things on the market. You can take export contracts and you can fulfill export contracts. Let's actually show you the export contract. So in the game, if I were to take, let's use this handy export contract here. Export contract, the one I'm currently working on goes in this space. I don't know if you can see it really well, but it's the one that we used that had 4 cheese, it had 4 cotton, and you gain, once you complete this, 4 cotton, 2 tech upgrades, and 10 coins. So once I've accomplished and got 4 cheese in the game, I can take an action, spin the cheese I have, get rid of it. It goes back in the supply, complete this contract. I would immediately gain 10 coins. I would actually get to upgrade 2 things. So I might upgrade that twice or that once and take 1 merchant. It's my choice. I get to do 2 things. And then finally the 4 cotton would move the track, which I showed earlier. It would move the cotton token up 4 spaces. Then this goes into my fulfilled export contracts. Now, which would go off to the side. Now, the person who made the game said that there is no hidden information in this game, so players should be able to easily see whatever contracts you've completed. So once this has been completed, it's done, and now I'm open to be able to take a new export contract. So I think I've covered all the main actions of the game. I have. So now let me point to some of the more nuanced actions of the game, okay? First of all, when I'm building, okay, just like I show here, I've already talked about the fact that you can build over rivers, and eventually, for instance, if I have my port upgraded to 3, I could skip 3 spaces of water and build over here, for instance. Well, I can already do that, but maybe I would go 1, 2, 3, and then I can build here. You get the idea from where I'm at. But other things you can do in the game is I'm trying to get this out. There's something called a neighboring bonus. So for that, I'm going to take one of Marco's pieces. I'm actually going to take this one here. And I'm going to put it here. Now this is a wheat farm that he built. So in the game, if I were to build adjacent to him with anything, I'm permitted to use an immediate trade action, just like I would if I used the action, but it's a free action, to buy wheat at a 2 gold discount. And all that's printed on the market. So I don't need to go over all the details with you, but basically there's a limit to how many you can buy, but there's a big discount for purchasing it. So now it doesn't affect Marco at all. It just says that because he has this here, I can do that. Now if he also had bread here and I built adjacent to him, I could actually do that action twice as long as I had enough merchants. But the point is that I can buy things much cheaper if I build next to somebody else as long as they're neighboring. Now here's an important distinction. If he's across the river and I build here, in the game, water blocks all neighboring. It doesn't matter if I have the ability to build over a river. If he's near a river, I can't, if he's across a river, that's not neighboring. I don't get to benefit from that. We have to be building adjacent to each other. Okay, and then one final thing here as far as actions on the board. In the game, there are 4 ports. 4 ports, and each player has 4 port tokens. Now, if at any point during the game, I've got a character within range of a port, for instance here, I'd be adjacent to a port. As long as I have, adjacent, you can always build adjacent, I can take that port action. If I were here, for instance, I would need to have at least my shipping level up 1 so I could skip 1 water to get to the port. I can take this port as a free action any time I want. So even if I had access to multiple ports, I could take them both at the same time. And ports have different effects. For instance, this one would let me, if I didn't have an export contract already, draw 3 random ones and pick one, and then gain 5 coins. And then what I do is I cover that, or I put it off to the side to show that I've used that port this game. Notice there's 4 action tokens, and there's 4 ports. Once you've used the port for the game, you can't use it again, but it is a free action. So in the case of these 2, I might have access to both those ports and be able to use those actions one time. Okay, and let me see, there's one more thing to show you, and it has to do with when you finish building all of your factories. So if I can go back to your main board here, you'll see at the bottom of your dairy farm, at the bottom of your bakery, at the bottom of your distillery, you'll see that similar little icon that shows the little question mark. That means export contracts. So when I build my final factory in a given row, and there's only 3 types of factories, what happens is that I can immediately take 2 export contracts. 3, and then choose one to keep as long as I have an empty space for one. If I have already have my export contract space filled, I can't take that bonus action. But it does help if I do have it there. Okay, so let's talk about the next phase of the game, and that's production. So once everyone has passed and taken their actions for the round, we're going to produce whatever's on our map here. So the first thing we're going to produce is we're going to produce wool, milk, and wheat, because those are the basic resources. So in this case, I would produce 2 wheat. So I'll just go ahead and I'll move these resources over and kind of illustrate for you what we're doing. So we would take 2 wheat, and just to make sure we're clear, let's do something else too. Let's take that guy off, and let's go ahead and make a wool as well, right? So the next step then is I can convert my basic resources, regardless if I produce in this turn or some future turn, into the advanced resources. You can see it's very tiny, but you can see that one wheat turns into 1 bread as long as you can make it, and 1 wheat turns into one whiskey. So in this case, I could take a wheat, discard that wheat, and go ahead and pick up a bread. That's what I'm allowed to do. Remember, at the end of the game, the basic resources are worth 1 victory point each. The better resources are worth 2 victory points each. Other things, so in the production phase, you produce all your resources, you gain all your money from whatever you have available here, and then the round ends and we start a new round. We refill the export contracts, we turn over the next round token, and we progress the game. There's a few more things that will come up as we go along and play, but for the most part, that is the general explanation of how to play Clans of Caledonia. So feel free to leave any feedback you have in there. It's a pretty little detailed game, but it's actually not too hard, especially if you've played games like it before, like Terra Mystica or Gaia Project.
Right. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the next 6 minutes. We're going to adjust some cameras real quick, and then we're going to dive right in.
Yeah, but stick around, because right now we're going to show you our discussion about our discussion question: are you being exploited by the game publishers and Kickstarter?
I wonder how we respond. All right, here we go.
So this week on Facebook, there was a post made. It has since been, I think, deleted. I couldn't find it again. But a particular user was asking a question and said, are Kickstarter publishers kind of milking it a bit? Or in other words, are they charging too much to the Kickstarter? And the example he used was, he asked, if it had a $100 game, right? A distributor would normally pay $40 for that $100 game. So the publisher would only get $40. So the fact that they're charging a Kickstarter backer $100 to him seemed excessive. He said he felt like that there could be a bigger discount given to backers, considering the fact that they're risking their money. So with that idea, what do you think, Marco?
As a consumer myself, I'm going to have to agree with him. For the fact that, think about companies such as CMON, Awaken Realms, Monolith. These are all companies that made $1 to $2 million on their previous campaigns. And they are established publishers which have already deep discounts on distribution, unlike the other people who take advantage of Kickstarter, which are the indie designers, who are brand new, making games. They don't have distribution lockdown. They have a lot of external costs that have to come to it. And I think they're taking advantage of us as a consumer by charging over, I would say, 200% markup on it.
Yeah, you have a really good case there. It's hard to argue that. And as far as what is the purpose of Kickstarter, right? So I'm an indie publisher myself. I work for Doomsday Robots game company, and we have one title to our name. So whatever I'm going to tell you, take that with whatever salt you need to take it with. In that I'm not a big publisher. I don't necessarily maybe understand all the ins and outs of what they deal with, but I'll at least speak from my perspective. Okay. So when we fund our campaign and we ask you to pay either full MSRP or close to full MSRP, what you're allowing us to do is you're helping us fund our company. You're not just giving us, let's say, I made a $50 game. You're not just giving us the, actually, let's just go back to a $100 game. Let's say making a $100 game because it's easier to do the percentages. You're not just giving me the $20 I need to make your copy. You're supplying me with, so I can make 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 units of that game, so that not only can I fulfill your copy, but also that I have enough to be able to have a long tail of later retail sales. Now the thing is, as a small publisher like me, we're not gonna see distribution. In fact, we talk, I hope we talk one day about Kickstarter exclusives, right? Because a lot of small campaigns, without even intending to be, end up being Kickstarter exclusives. Yeah, I know. Right? But back to the CMON thing. So as a small publisher, we use that upfront capital to be able to fund our future projects. Not only pay our wages, but actually be able to fund future projects. So we need every dollar that's coming in when it comes down to that. But you make a great point, Marco, about the bigger publishers, and frankly, they're capitalists when it comes down to it, and they see an opportunity. It's a great marketing tool to be able to raise money and to gauge interest in a game. I'm having a hard time deflecting for them. I think what you need to ask them to defend their high prices, right?
I mean, it's the fact that I feel like they're abusing the system of Kickstarter at this point. First time when it's like they're bringing in new designers, they're taking a risk. So you're doing a risk-reward type thing, so why not use Kickstarter for that? Mm-hmm. But now they're using their established, successful designers, in their games to back more stuff on Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. So it's taking advantage of not only you and me, as me, the customer, and Bryn, the publisher. It's taking advantage of everyone, I think, in this case.
Well, let me speak a couple things to that. One, me as the publisher, I'm a small publisher. I benefit from bigger publishers bringing in more people in the Kickstarter. So yeah, I can look at Rising Sun or even Exploding Kittens and say, oh my gosh, they didn't need Kickstarter for that, right? But the number of people and number of eyes and faces that they brought to Kickstarter in that time, you just see the backer counts during that period just exploded, right? Some of those people see my campaigns, right? And they say a rising tide raises all boats. Well, in my case, the more popular Kickstarter is, the more likely I am going to be to fund, at least until this bubble bursts, if there is indeed a bubble.
Right. And I think that's great, and especially for an indie designer. I mean, kind of what you have to do to compete now with these bigger publishers that are coming to Kickstarter. Yeah. And I guess that's another issue I have, is the fact that with a bigger publisher, they don't care if they get you specifically your donation or your money, because they know they're going to pull anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 people just by saying, hey, we have a new game, we're releasing it. And that, what was it? Blood Rage, not Blood Rage, was What's the latest one? Hate.
You brought up hate. Why'd you bring up hate? We really need to do a segment on Kickstarter exclusives because hate was a Kickstarter exclusive.
I know. Like I said, I wouldn't do it.
And it performed very differently than what we expected, than what frankly what the industry expected. So we'll have to talk about that another time.
Yes.
But yeah. Any other questions?
No, I think, do you have anything else that you want to inform us as backers about Kickstarter or, cost?
Yeah, actually, you're giving me the closing thought.
I am.
And I'll take it. So to the backer who wrote the post, I feel your pain. Because, a lot of us, especially indie publishers, we're also backers, right? We understand that it does feel like, putting a lot of money in right now for a game that, one, may not get made. That happened recently. Everyone knows about this, the Terminator and the other games there. That's another discussion for another time. But really, we feel your pain on that. But understand that there are a lot of forces at work from not only supporting ourselves and our new companies, but also actually supporting the end retailer, who ultimately, without the end game retailer, there is no game.
Oh, there we go. So we're back. Hold on, let me adjust this camera real quick.
Yep, this is our first time we did like a complete change of scenery while we were on break. But we hope it'll help in teaching the game in the future, so I'm not like stretching all over the board, right? So great. So are we ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Are you guys ready to go? If you have any questions or comments during the playthrough, feel free to put it out in the bottom. Blake, I don't know if Terminator is coming back. We will talk about that next week.
Yes.
That is something we are definitely going to talk about with Space Goat and...
Oh my goodness, yes, yeah. Actually, that's a great thing. Let's talk about that next week. We have give us some time to coalesce our thoughts on that. Right?
Yeah, there's quite a bit about what's going on in that situation. But we do have a full discussion on, do you think Kickstarter campaigns are taking too much from backers? Check it out on YouTube. It'll be up later on tonight after the stream on Facebook and on YouTube. So check it out. It's a nice, we have a good 13 to 14 minute conversation.
That's right. Yeah, it's pretty good. You see all the stuff that we cut out for our video. Well, great. Let's get into Clans of Caledonia.
Yep, let's go.
All right, great. So what we've done at the beginning of the game is that each player at the beginning of the game was able to draft a specific clan. Now, I've already grabbed my clan. I've already grabbed my starting resources. But just so you know, when you play the game, that you actually start with a clan, and you start with that determines your clan and your starting resources. So my clan in particular makes it cheaper for me to build factories. Marco's allows him to sell milk as an action. 1 milk for, I think, 8 gold, and that's what it is. Yeah, so.
And here it is right there.
Clan Cunningham, and I got Clan Campbell. All right, great. So,
I feel like this clan is broken, by the way, just to let you guys know.
It's pretty good. In fact, I need to clarify. Why don't you clarify rules on Clan Campbell while I go ahead and finish up teaching the beginning of the game. So now that we've gone over the clans, the next thing we would do is each of us, in turn order, would choose one of our workers types, and place it somewhere on the board where we want to start. So what will happen is that you still have to pay for them. So at the beginning of the game, I collected 55 coins, but I'm going to have to spend those coins on these workers. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually build a forester, right? I like the forester. I'm going to build him right there. Now, his total cost is going to cost me 6 from the game mat, plus 1 for the space. So it's going to cost me 7 coins, which I have right here. And so now that I've placed my guy, it will be Marco's turn to go ahead and place one of his anywhere else on the map. He can build adjacent to me. He can build wherever he wants.
All right. I, as well, am going to build a forester. And I'm going to build it right here.
Okay.
And let me lay that down for you guys so you can see it.
A little easier to see when they're turned downward like that. Great.
All right.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now Marco gets to place his next worker before I get to place my next one.
Right.
So he's going to place his last one. He can choose a forester or a miner. It doesn't matter.
I'm going to choose a miner. And again, I'm going to do it right here.
So Marco's consolidating himself in one area of the game. Now there's a strategy to that, and let me explain it real quick while he finishes looking up his clan. At the end of the game, you're going to gain bonuses for 2 different types of victory points, and it's printed on your little board here, but I'll go ahead and tell you what they are. The first one is that the player who has the most export contracts in a 2-player game will gain 8 points. The player who has the most connected settlements will gain 12 points. Now let me explain what a connected settlement is. So these guys here are two different settlements, okay? They're not connected though. But however, if he were to have, and I'll use some more other view tokens really quick to show you, that right there would be considered to be a settlement as well, because anything adjacent is a settlement. Remember the word on neighboring? Anything neighboring is considered to be part of the same settlement. If he were to have a settlement here, a piece here, he would have 1, 2, 3 settlements. What makes them adjacent to themselves is if they either are adjacent or across a river, and you have open up the port ability to cross rivers, or if they're connected via shipping routes over the water. So in this case, for these two to be connected for the purpose of in-game scoring, he would need to have at least one water shipping level on his ability to ship, on his ability to traverse water. So the trick to the game is to be able to, and for instance, if I put this here, that's still 2 settlements because water separates them. So in this case, he'd have 3 connected settlements so long as he had at least one water tile. If he had this one here and he had at least two levels of shipping or whatever the trait. I need to find out what that's called, so I don't keep fumbling all over the words. But basically, if he could actually transport between 2 spaces of water, these would all be connected as well. So you can actually dot the map with your settlements so long as you have the ability to jump around. So by him starting where he did, he's starting in an area where 2 guys are going to be pretty easy to connect to each other, and he can spread all out. I'll give those to you. Okay, so now I'm going to...
Real quick, just so you know, is there any starting money?
There is. Actually, at the start of the game, you gained a starting tile, which I don't think we have out anymore, but there was a starting tile that we gained, that we drafted, that told us how much money we started the game with, and it told us how many resources we got. So
the reason I say this is because he didn't give me any money.
What?
So I'm looking here what's my starting money? I know I have 2 milk and a wheat?
I think it was a bread. It might have been something else. We'll look at it. Yeah.
So I need to get that real quick before we begin.
Sure. Go ahead.
So Bryn,
I'm gonna be placing
where
my
is
right over there.
Okay.
On the
so Bryn's gonna finish up, and
that's right. Okay,
here
great.
we go.
All right, go. So I'm gonna be picking my next place to put something. So I really want to get the neighboring bonuses from him, and based on where he's positioned, I see that there's some cheaper places here and here, for instance. I also really wouldn't mind getting to these outside edge board, these ports, so I can get access to both ports. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a miner on a particularly inexpensive area here, which would cost me 2, see 2 right there, plus the 10 on my board. So it's going to cost me 12 more money. So let me go ahead and pay 10, 11, 12. I think it is a cheese. No, it's not a cheese, it's a bread. Sorry. 2 milk and a bread.
2 milk, wrong. 2 milk and a whiskey.
And a whiskey. Oh, that's even better, right? Oh, look, that's what you have right there. 2 milk and a whiskey. It's almost like I got everything but the 55 money. Whoops. Okay. All right, great.
Real quick.
Sure.
Are you on the main board?
Yeah, I'm on the main board, yeah.
All right. Sean, we want to thank you for your compliment that we're doing great work. Thank you so much for that.
Appreciate that.
Blake, I'm sorry that we're distracting you. But I hope you enjoy the game, and then you can go back to your podcast afterwards, because I know you want to watch us play this fantastic game over here.
It is a great game.
All right, so back to the board.
So we're going to go a little faster now because we have set up now. So now actually begins the first turn of the game. And so I'm going to show you in the little detail cam here what the first goal is. So for round 1, we're going to score 1 glory for every single basic resource, that's wool, wheat, and milk, that we have at the end of this round. So this is a one-time scoring effect. Once this round's over, we will not be able to get this in the future. So it might behoove us to make some goods. Great, so to start my first round, I'm going to start with something big. I'm going to go ahead and build a wheat farm right here. It's going to cost me 18 plus 1. That's going to be 19 costs. So let me go ahead and spend it. I've got... is that all I've got? It's 55. I think I might have messed with my money earlier as well. But I've got 20 right here. I'm gonna go ahead and spend the 20, get 2 back. Excuse me, get 1 back because it's 19. And I now have my first wheat farm. In the meantime, I'm gonna figure out my money really quick.
All right. So what I'm going to do, because I have movement 1, is I'm gonna put another miner out. So we're gonna go onto the main board, and you're going to see that mine right there. So it's going to cost me 10 plus 3. As you can see right here, the cost of 3 to put it there, so it's 13. So I'm going to put 15 in, and I'll get 2 back. All right, Bryn?
All right, great. I need some more money, and I definitely want to get one of these cool export contracts. I think I can fulfill this one more easily than the others. So I'm going to go ahead and take this guy right here, which I will show you again in the main board. So it's going to require that I get 1 bread, 1 whiskey, and 1 wool. And in exchange of that, I get 4 hops and 2 tobacco. So I'll go ahead and take that. It's going to go into my export space here. So I cannot take any more until I complete that. Now, because it's the first round, I actually gain 5 coins for taking that, which I'm going to take now. And that was my action.
All right. I as well am going to take 1. As you can see, they don't fill up until the end of the round.
That's right.
So that one's going to be permanently missing for the rest of this round. And I see 4 cheeses over there. I'm going to take that one because I produce a lot of milk, and milk also gives me a lot of money.
Okay, great. So go ahead and take your 5 coins as well.
Yep.
Okay, great. Now, I really want to be able to produce a lot of basic resources this turn. It's kind of important because I have to decide, do I want the points for the basic resources or do I want to easily complete my contract? Because I'm making 2 wheat right now, so it wouldn't be too bad to go ahead and put down a distillery and a bakery. But I want to focus on some basic resources first, so I'm going to go ahead and play a little sheep. So it costs 8 to do that, and let's go ahead and place here for 1. That's a total of 9. And I'll get my coin back, and it's now your turn.
All right. Now, what I do want to make mention is this game, the rounds don't end until we pass.
That's right.
If I pass and Bryn has not, he can still go and go and go until he decides he wants to pass.
That's right.
Or same vice versa. If Bryn passes, because he just can't do anything more, and I can still go, I'm going to go.
But there's a benefit for passing first.
That's right. The benefit is if we take a note on the board.
If you pass first, the first person to pass will gain 16 coins immediately and gets to go first the next round. So,
All right.
What happened?
Thank you, Sean, for saying for me to never say I produce a lot of milk.
Okay. All right, great.
All right, so it's
Well,
my
I take
turn.
action. It's your turn. That's right.
All right. I am going to also produce another. Let's see, that's a 5 space over there. So that's going to cost me. Actually, I'm going to take another one. It's going to be a 6 space plus 6 is 12. So here we go.
Okay.
And I'm putting another a woodworker right there.
Okay.
And because it's right next to.
That's right. Because it's right next to my sheep, he can now buy wool for a discount of 2. So if we look at the market real quick, wool right now is you can buy it for 4, but he can use his merchant's net right now to buy it for 2 instead.
Right, and there's my 2.
Okay, you gotta spend a merchant too.
And here's my merchant over
Okay.
here.
Merchant, and you're buying it, so it's gonna go there. Do you want to buy more than 1?
Up top.
Oh yeah, purchasing. Did you want to buy more than 1?
No, I just want to buy
Okay,
one.
so that's gonna move it up 1 space then.
All right, and that's how you can, as well as get resources
That's right.
without the production phase.
That's correct. And that's indeed how that works.
All
So
right.
I've got a final round. I got to figure out what I'm gonna do. So I wouldn't mind getting some more money out. So let's see here. I can't quite cross the river yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and pay 4 coins, which will give me 1 back, to upgrade my ability to build over rivers. So that was a tech upgrade, and it's your turn.
All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I need to get out of cow. You know, I really do need to get out of cow.
You gotta produce milk, buddy.
I did start off with 2 right here, as you can see.
Okay.
I do have 2, but I need to make some more. I feel like after Sean's comment, anything I talk about milk is just going to get ridiculous.
All right, well, let's see it. All right.
All right, so let's see here. I could. Actually, there's not much. I can only have 11 money left.
Kind of tough. So
It is kind of tough.
while he's deciding what to do, I'm going to give you an idea of what my goal in the game is. So he was able to benefit from buying the wool here. That's fine with me. One thing I didn't bring up is that, and that's important to the game, and I'm going to show you right here. These contracts, some of them have on them, and if you'll just switch over to this camera real quick, I'm going to show you something. So some of them have meat on them, okay? You'll see this here has like a lamb chop. So you'll notice that corresponds directly to the sheep. Just like if it had like a steak, it corresponds to the cow. If I want to fulfill this contract, not only do I have to have the 2 bread and the one whiskey, but I actually have to sacrifice or slaughter one of my sheep. So in the game, you'll notice, and I'll show you back over here on the main board, that I've got a sheep right here, okay? So if I were to build something else, say, I don't know, if I was to say build a little guy right there, a lumber mill, right, lumber mine. Remember how these are all settlements? Well, if I eat this sheep and it's gone, it actually goes back to my player board. It doesn't. I ate it to fulfill the contract, so it doesn't produce wool for me anymore. So it goes back to my board. But now I've created 2 separate settlements, and so it's a way to kind of hop, skip around the map in order to again benefit from that 18-point settlement bonus at the end of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back, take this guy back, and hopefully at this point Marco knows what he's doing.
All right. So real quick, we did have a question.
Sure.
And I'm going to go over to the market real quick.
Sure.
With us on there. So Blake, yes, prices do fluctuate as you buy and sell items.
That's right.
So since I bought an item, that actually price goes down.
No, you purchased it, so the price went up.
Oh, that's right. It
That's
goes
right.
up.
Yep. So now it costs more to purchase them in the future.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then if I were to sell an item, the prices go down.
Right.
It's simple supply and demand.
That's right.
Type of game here.
Yeah, it's pretty elegantly done in this system. These little tokens are going to move throughout the game, and they only move when players move them. Generally, there's a few exceptions to that. Some cool special effects, but in general, only if we move these do they change at all. So if I want to buy wool in the future, it's going to cost me more.
Right. All right. So back to the main board.
Okay.
And what I didn't realize was this was a 5, not a 1.
Okay, good.
So that opened up my options.
So you got some money, huh?
So I can definitely put a move out there. So I'm going to, for 14, build right here.
Oh, look at that.
And close him up.
And you can buy wool as well if you want to.
That's right. I'm not, because it's 14. Only have 1 money left.
Okay. So I know he's going to pass. And I have to decide right now if me passing and gaining the extra 3 coins is worth the action I'm going to take. So I do have 6 coins, and I was going to build another lumber mill, which is cool. That would earn me 4. Mm-hmm. That's a 1 coin. So do I want to lose 1 coin to go second? No. I'll just go ahead and end my turn now so I can stay first player. So I'll gain 16 coins to ending my round. And what are you going to do?
All right, I'm going to pass as well.
All right.
And
you'll gain 13 coins for that.
All right, so 13 coins.
Okay.
And yes, Blake, I will just say milk.
Okay.
So
now,
don't worry about that.
So let me show you how the production phase works. I'm going to show you exactly how Marco produces milk. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Actually, I'm going to show you mine. So first of all, we got to do is it's really easy. On the board, you look at where the pluses are. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and gain one of these resources. Actually, let me go ahead and put my resources all together. These are ones I already had. I'll gain one of these resources. This is a wool. I'll also gain 2 wheat for this turn as well. So that takes care of that. I have no conversion. I don't have any bakeries. I don't have any distilleries, so I can't turn this into anything. So this is exactly what I have at the end of the round. All right. So finally, I also connect. Whoops, I have to kind of move things around here a bit. I also collect coins based on how many workers I have out. Well, because I only have 2 workers out, I'm only going to get 10 coins from that. So not starting off real strong as far as the money goes. But that is all production for me. And once Marco's done producing, we'll show you what happens at the end of the round.
All right. So with my ability, I'm going to now switch over to us and the main board. Bryn's board over here.
Okay.
With my ability here, I'm going to show you up right there.
Okay.
A little closer. As it lets me produce during the production phase, lets me sell 1 milk or more for 8 money.
Yep.
So that's why I chose resources at the beginning.
That's right.
That gave me more milk.
That's right.
And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna go.
You have 3.
Yes, but I'm gonna save some.
Okay, you're gonna save some for cheese. Okay. Well, first of all, did you produce any first?
Yes, I produced.
Okay, you're produced, and now you're selling it. Okay.
Right.
Good. Go ahead.
So that gives me 16.
That's
right
16 right there. Ooh,
right.
He's really in the money.
And that's the good thing about this clan here, and that's why I say it's kind of broken.
Yeah.
Is because if you produce a lot of milk, you can basically just sell it for a lot of money.
That's right. Very
All right,
good
so
stuff. Okay,
we're
great.
going to turn 2.
Okay.
And
Well,
Bryn's up
actually,
first.
let's go to the end of turn 1, which is scoring. So let's take you to the scoring map right here.
All right.
Okay. So we see this. Now we're going to score. So this first round, for every basic resource we have in our supply, we're going to gain 1 glory. Now, if we remember what I had on mine, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 basic resources and 1 advanced. Well, so what I'll do is I'll get to move myself up. Actually, let me move these off. These actually haven't moved yet. I'm the red. I'll move up 5 points. So for my 5 basic resources, Marco, what have you got?
I've got 2.
2. So Marco will be up on the 2 space, and that's it. So next thing we do is we turn this over. It's gone, and now we turn over 2 new export contracts. We got one for whiskey and wool. We got one for cheese and bread. Great, so those will both come out, and now we move to round 2. And so in round 2, if I can show you this.
Real quick,
Go ahead.
Blake, this is not a new game. It was done on Kickstarter last year.
Yeah.
And it was
Came out at the end of last year.
Right, successful. You could buy it at Fun Again Games as well as Amazon.
Yeah, but or your local game store.
I don't know if they did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can find it out at your local game store.
Because before, that's how I had to find it, was through Fun Again.
Yeah, especially at first because it was sold out everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you have your standard edition, and I don't know if retail does the premium edition, which is this.
You know what's great? I looked up online earlier. You can actually go to Karma Games, karma-games.com. That's the people who make the game. And you can buy both the premium edition, the coins, or the standard edition there.
Right. So all right. So back on to turn 2.
Okay, so turn 2, I want to show you something. So now we have a new benefit here. So for every, what is that, a worker?
Yes.
Yeah, every worker we have deployed, we're going to gain 2 points at the end of this round. So in this one, we're going to probably try to get out as many workers as we can to produce money and also gain points as well. Of course, keeping in mind that we still have to fill export contracts. There's still other ways to gain points in the game. And since I'm the first player, I'm going to start. So I'm going to start where I left off and go ahead and place another worker. That's going to cost, I'm going to buy one right here. It's going to cost me 6 to buy the forester, plus 1 for the placement. So it's going to cost me a total of 7. Oops, get rid of the money here. And place this forester here. Now, because I upgraded my ability to go over rivers last time, I can build there just fine. And that is my first move.
All right. The plan is hopefully at some point, if we do get requested to do a Kickstarter, we would stream it. But right now, we're just going to do established games.
Can you let us know the question that was asked?
The question was from Blake: is do y'all stream upcoming games?
Oh yeah, we would love to. We just have to have access to them.
Right.
Okay.
So right now, it's just going to be existing games until we are requested.
That's right.
And at that point, yes, we'd be happy to.
Yep.
There's in talks for one, but we're not going to say what it is.
That's right.
But hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right, so back to my turn now.
Yep, back to you.
Here we go. So as well as I can either put another cow or anything else. But if you see here, I already have one little connection supply right there of people that at endgame scoring, what is it, the number of little towns you have?
The number of settlements that are connected to each other. In other words, that can reach each other via your shipping routes.
Right, so right now I have one settlement here, I got to create a settlement right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then to make a settlement route.
Sure, go for it.
Because the river is the dividing point.
That's right.
So we got to make sure to remember that is rivers divide everything.
That's right, they sure do.
All right, so to do that, I'm going to put out another cow. And that's going to cost me 13.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bryn, it's your turn.
All right, great. I'm just looking to make sure I got the money I need to do. I do have the money I need. It's going to be that. 10. Great. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build right here. It's going to cost me 3 to build it. I'm going to build a miner since that is partially a mountain, which means I'm allowed to place a miner. So it's going to cost me 13 to place that miner there. So 10, 11, 12, 13 goes away, and it's your turn.
All right. Let's see. I as well was going to put on a miner for 15.
Okay.
Right here.
All right, great. So now that's my turn. I'm trying to get to this water before he cuts me off completely. So I'm actually going to build right here. Not exactly. I wanted to build a worker, but I really need to get something there. And right now, you know, I've got this wheat coming in. I guess it's time to go ahead and make at least a little bit of the distillery of the hops. So I'm going to build. This building's going to cost me 10 plus 4 is 14, and that'll allow me to start producing whiskey. And that gives me 1 coin left, and it's your turn.
All right, so I am going to start building across the river right here. Let me just show you. I'm going to build right across, right up down here.
Okay.
As you can see, I'm trying to, again, yes, keep them all together, but at the same time, cross as many river points as I can for connected settlements.
Great.
So that's going to cost me, I'm going to make some cheese starting now. So that is 12.
Okay. He's going to place your dairy.
Yep.
Dairy maker right there. All right. Great. And I've only got 1 coin left, and I haven't filled my contract, so I can't take a new one yet. So I'm going to end my turn. That's going to get me 16 coins. Actually, it's all Marco now.
Yep. And I'm going to put out You know what? I'm going to put on one more worker for 10.
So while he's doing his turn, I'm going to explain something. Once you're used to the game, oh, and I forgot something. I actually got $3 back for building my first factory. Remember, my clan ability is that every time I build a factory, it's cheaper. So let me go ahead and take my 3 coins. But here's something to know. Once you understand the game and you pass, you can go ahead and begin your production phase. And I'm going to go ahead, you know what, I'll wait till Marco finishes. I'll show one more production phase, but in future rounds, I'll do it myself.
All right, and I'm actually out of money, so...
You're going to pass too?
Yep.
All right, so we're going to pass, and you're going to get 13 coins for that.
Yep.
And I'm going to show you the production phase again, okay?
There we go.
This time we're going to start with money. I have 2 of each type, so that's going to be a total of 8 plus 12, so 20 money for me from that. Okay, 20 coins. And then with the 20 coins, I'm also going to gain 2 more wheat. So you hand me 2 wheat, Marco?
There you go.
Cool, and 1 more wool. Great. So I've got a bunch of wheat and wool. Now I can turn at least 1 wheat into one whiskey, which I'm going to do. This wheat is going to go back into the supply, and now I have a whiskey. So my production is complete.
All right. So I'm just finishing up here.
Okay, great. So I've got my money. I've got my goods. As you can see, I've got a lot of goods here. It's time to start fulfilling export contracts. And you'll notice now that I have the whiskey, I have the bread, and I have the wool. So at least these are going to fulfill this export contract next time. And now I've got to be able to build up my other distilleries so I can turn more of this wheat into beer. So,
all right, so now let's count up the points.
Okay, great. Points. So here we go. We're going to go back here. So for every active worker we have out, we gain 2 points. Well, I have 4 workers, as is easy to see on my board. So I'm going to gain 8 points from that. So I went from 5 to 13. And Marco, how many do you got?
I have 6 out there.
6 out there. 6 times 2. That's 12 points. That's going to bring you to 14. And look at that. He overtook me by 1 point already. Great.
And okay, I'm catching up.
So that's going to flip this over. And as you see, there were no changes. Nobody took any export contracts, so none changed hands. So that's it for that. So we start round 3, and I'm going to start right here. So for every tech upgrade we have this turn, we're going to gain a point. Now you might remember that I upgraded my shipping, so that that was 1 tech upgrade. But there's a lot more that you can do. So we're specifically incentivized to do that this turn.
Right.
So at the beginning of my round, let's see here. I really would like to get some of these tech upgrades, but I need to go ahead and start producing. I see a good contract that's out there for me, and I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and fulfill this export contract. So here we go. There's the export contract I'm fulfilling. And as I showed you before, here are the resources I'm going to be using to fulfill it. So these resources go back into supply, which is kind of far away. Give me 1 second. The export contract then that I completed now goes into my completed export contract area. And that's the end of my round, but I'm going to go ahead and move up the, sorry, I will slow down for just a minute. When I completed my export contract, I move up the tobacco 2 spaces. So on the scoring board, I move the tobacco up to the 2, and that's where it is now.
All right, so now it's my turn, and I'm going to buy an upgrade. So now I'm going to buy this upgrade right here, which is going to cost me 10.
So he bought the big upgrade here on the side that cost him 10 to upgrade all of his miners to make him more money, which is fantastic. So,
all right,
great. And I'm going to go ahead and take an export contract for my turn. Now, the export contract that I'm going to take, which I'll show over here, it's fine. Actually, okay, show right here, it takes wool and a lot of beer. Well, I'm going to be producing beer now, so whiskey, so I'm going to try for that. But the big thing is it gives me 15 money when it's completed, which for me right now, I'm really needing some cash. So that'll be good for next turn. Great.
All right, and what I'm going to do is, because I started off with this whiskey barrel, and he's now producing whiskey or beer, I'm going to lower the cost of whiskey.
Okay.
By using one of my things. Actually, you already have one over there.
So what are you doing? Sorry.
The market.
The market. Okay. Are you buying or selling?
I am selling the whiskey.
You needed this back, by the way.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Just put it on.
So now you're going to sell whiskey
for 11.
So that's going to give you $11, and since he sold 1, it moves down to 10.
Right.
Great.
And so that's going to go over here.
Okay.
And there we go.
Okay, great.
Right?
Yep, my turn. Okay, great. Let's see here. I need to go ahead. I really need to get 2 more distilleries out there pretty quickly, and they're going to cost me 10 each to do. So I have at least 20 to get 2 more out there. Now they'll be a little cheaper for me because of my clan. It'll be 8 cheaper. So, but let's go ahead and get some distilleries out there. Just looking for better places to put them to make sure I have enough. I'm actually going to purchase. Let's see if I can get these out here. I'm going to purchase right now before things change too much. No, forget it. I'm not going to do that. Let's go back to this. I'm going to build a distillery. It's going to cost me 11 to build it, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So it's going to cost me 10. There's 11. This distillery is going to go right here, right by my other distillery. Now, because of my bonus, I get $4 back for that, so I'm going to go ahead and take back 4. And that's my round. I now have 2 distilleries out there.
All right, and so what I'm going to do is, because I just got the money back I just spent, is I'm going to spend it again to upgrade the other side for the woodworkers.
Great. So he's done now both upgrades to both tool sets. So he's going to produce in the most money he can from his workers.
Right.
Now I forgot to mention something. When I took that export contract from this board last time, and we'll show the board again. Because of the round that we're on, it should have cost me 5 coins. So I'm going to go ahead and take 5 and I'm going to lose them. That's what should have happened when I took the export contract this turn, right? So now it's back to my turn though, and it's time to build another distillery. So those are going to cost me 13 right here. So I'm going to go ahead and give 13. Build another distillery right here. So now I've got another settlement started across the river here. And I'm going to get back 4 coins for having built that. So I'm going to take back 4.
And as you can see, he's really starting to expand. And right now he only has 1 settlement connected.
I have 1, 2, this huge one's 2,
right.
3.
Oh, that's right. I didn't see this river.
Yep.
So he's got 3 as well.
That's right.
So I'm going to need to still do something. So I'm going to spend 4 and upgrade my navigation.
Okay, great. That's another techie upgraded. Great. All right, so for me, I'm going to have the whiskey I need this round, next round to be able to complete that contract, which is what I really wanted to have done. So now it's time to see if I can get some more upgrades myself. So I have access to a really easy mountain tile. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to spend, let's see how much money I have. It's going to cost 10 to do that. You know what? This benefit over here, this port, gives me 3 points and a free upgrade, which sounds pretty good right now, considering the fact that upgrades are going to be able to give me more money. To do that, though, I've got to get at least to here, and then have the shipping range to get there. Well, that's going to cost me at least 6 coins, plus the 6 more to build a forester, which is 12 coins, okay? Then I'm going to need to upgrade at least once more, which is going to cost me 4. I have just enough money to do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to go ahead and put this guy right here. He's going to cost me 6 plus 6, which is going to cost me 12, which I'll pay. And I've got another forester out there.
All right, so I am going to spend 4 more to up the navigation again.
Okay, great. So I've got a problem. I am 1 coin short. 1 coin short of being able to build another forester right here and taking advantage of that upgrade. But what I can do is spend 4 coins. I'll get 1 back to upgrade my shipping, which moves to here, now to the 1. And then I'm going to immediately take this port by using one of my port tokens and showing it there. That's going to move me up 3 points, so 1, 2, 3, and give me a free upgrade. Now, I want to mention something about free upgrades. I'm going to point to the board. Now, normally a free upgrade would be like a free movement here on here, or give me a free merchant. But notice you can get a free upgrade on these. You might say, well, why don't I use it on the thing that costs 10? I mean, that's an upgrade. Well, because the reason why is because if I use it on the thing that costs 10, it only reduces its cost by 5. Well, I don't have 5 coins. I'm at 3. So I can't actually take that action. So I'm going to upgrade something else. I haven't really been using my merchants very much. So I'm going to wait on building that, see if I can sell something this round instead, and then buy the big upgrade. So that's my turn. Your turn.
All right, so back to the board, back to us. And now it's the time of expansion.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to build my last woodworker for 7. So, did you pass?
All right, nope, I didn't pass. Back to me. I'm going to take a merchant. I'm going to go ahead and sell one of these wool since they're worth 5 now. And it's going to give me 5 points for selling that wool. So the wool moves back down to the 4.
Right. And I am going to start building this.
Oh, the wool's gone, by the way. Yeah. Okay.
The cow right here. So that is 11.
Okay.
There we go.
Great. And milk hasn't done me a lot of good either, so it's not doing my
That's
body
right.
good. All right, so I'm going to get 5 coins for that. Milk's kind of his domain, the making of milk. So that's going to move down the merchant there as well. So I'm done with my turn.
All right, now I'm going to make more cheese. That is gonna be. Where am I gonna make it? Where am I gonna make this cheese? This delicious, delicious cheese. Across the river. It's gonna only cost me 9. So there.
Great. All right. All right.
Okay.
Back to me. All right. So what I'd love to be able to do is build another forester. I don't see the only spaces I have available are here. So that would cost me 6. It would cost me 8 gold, 8 to do that, and I think I will. So here is 5, 6, 7, 8 to build my last forester right here on this forest area, and that's done. That's over. Back to your turn.
All right. Now, just so everybody remembers this, on the board here, the port icon is supposed to stay on there. Because one time...
Yeah. Once I take access, use this port, I'm going to put my little token there to show that I've used it. Yeah.
But you've used it.
I haven't actually. Remember, I didn't have the money to do it, so I've been selling stuff, which means I took away the 3 points I gave myself too. Sorry about that. I'm about to use it. I promise. It's going to be really cool.
He does this to me all the time.
In fact, actually, you want me to just go ahead and do it?
He does it to me all the time, where he's like, "I'm going to do this." Wait a minute. 3 turns back. I didn't mean to do that.
I'm not that bad. Okay. Actually, so at the end of my last round, I'm going to go ahead and do the...
it's still my turn, so...
Okay. Just so you know, the port is a free action. Do that anytime I do the other thing. So as soon as I built the what's it called, the lumber guy, I'll go ahead and do the port action just to show you how that works. Right. You can do it right off the back. So it's going to cost me 5. I get a free upgrade, except these cost half as much. So instead of costing me 10, it's going to cost me 5, which is exactly how much money I have, which means my foresters are upgraded now. That's it for foresters. Great. And I will go ahead and get my 3 points that I took away from myself a moment ago.
All right. And for 9, I'm going to put on another cheese. And because this is 1 away, right across.
Nice. New settlement.
Right.
All right. Do you want to take that free action?
So what does that free action do?
So this free action down here, and if you pick it up and put it in front of the screen, I'll explain it. So this lets the players who take it modify the market one row of the market up or down 3 spaces immediately. Now that can set you up for a really big sale action or a really big buy action based on how you want to do it. So right now the market's pretty static, but you can make
haven't
big
passed
changes.
yet. So
I haven't passed yet.
I'm gonna hold off on that.
And hold off before you jump up the price of wheat.
That's right.
Okay. So I'm gonna pass now. Go ahead and collect my 16 coins, and I'm done with my turn.
All right. Now I'm gonna use that free action since he has passed.
Yep.
So take a look on the board.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do this as the free action at the trade, and I'm gonna move up wool.
Wool
by 3.
1, 2, 3. So now it's cost 6 to buy it, or you get 6 for selling it.
All right. So I'm gonna sell it.
Okay.
Right here. So there's that.
Okay. He's got 1 there, so he's gonna sell it for 6. Yep. He gets 6 coins. It moves down to 5. And since I passed, he just keeps going until he's done.
So we're just gonna keep going. That's what we're gonna do by this time. So I still need to do more upgrades because right now I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, that's 4 points. And might as well just spend another 4.
Okay.
Move
another upgrade.
Nautical.
Okay. He's creaming me. This is gonna be great.
And what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna build a guy for 11.
He's building 11. He's building. How did you do that?
1, 2.
Oh, look at that! Wow, that's great.
All right, and now I'm out of money, so now I'm gonna pass.
Okay, great.
All right, so now it goes into production.
So now we're going to production phase. So as usual, I'm gonna go ahead and collect my 1 wool. I'm gonna collect my 2 wheat. Can you give me 2 wheat, please?
Yep. Oh, 2 wheat.
2 wheat. And now I'm gonna produce wheat. So I'm gonna take the 3 wheat that I'm gaining and turn that into 3 whiskey. So here's 3 whiskey instead. Great. And as far as money goes, I'm now getting this column for coins for the forester. So I'm going to get 24 coins plus 16 for a total of 40. So I'll go and get 40 coins. And that's all for production for me.
Yes, Sean. I am creaming him with all of my milk.
That's right. All right. Let's go back to the points board then. And you've produced everything?
No, I'm producing that.
Okay, he's producing that. But I'll go ahead and show you how we're doing with the points. So this turn, remember how we gain 1 point per upgrade. So for me, I have 1 upgrade for the forester's tools, and I have 2 shipping upgrades for a total of 3. So I'll move up 3 points. 1, 2, 3, and that's my turn.
All right. And for me,
by the way, when you passed, did you gain your 13 coins?
No, I haven't.
Okay, go and grab those 2. You know, doing the live stream, something I've learned in doing this is that I get a little. I'm so intent on making sure that you know what's going on as best I can. I blank a lot of times on what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes. We're talking so much and bringing it out.
But I'm getting better. So anyway, you guys tell me how I can improve. That's great.
And if you want to hear that, the sound of money clinking.
Yeah, I know the coins are great. The coins are great. All right, how many points did you get for text, by the way?
All right, so I got, what is it, one per?
One per.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5? Oh man, so you're from 14, you're at 19. We're now tied at 19, but you've got a kind of a scary setup there, especially with the money.
And there's 2 more turns left.
That's right.
Two more rounds left.
So we're going to go ahead and flip this guy over. It's all done. And we're going to put out a new export contract here. Export contracts, cheese, beer, cheese, whiskey, and bread. Pretty easy, but it does give you 2 upgrades. That's kind of nice. All right, so this round, and I'll go ahead and and I'll just point to it over here. I'll show you detail. But this one is for every good you produce, it's worth 1 point. Every good you produce. And of course, wheat, because it produces 2, would be worth 2 points for producing the 2 wheat. But for every good you produce is 1 point. So right now we're going to try to maximize production this turn, I imagine.
Right.
Okay, great. So it's my turn, huh?
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, I've taken one of the port actions. I'm getting close to taking the other one. But let's do what I need to do first. I need to buy whiskey. Why? Because I need 4 whiskey to finish this. So, we should have got our merchants back. So here's a merchant back for you. Merchant's back for me. And I'm going to go ahead and buy whiskey for, you know what? I'm going to buy 2 whiskey. That's going to cost me 20. So for 20, I get 2 whiskey barrels, and that is my action. I went ahead and did all my buying this turn.
All right, and I actually at this turn finally, 3 turns later, finally have enough cheese to trade in.
Oh, sorry, that was actually supposed to go up from.
And so now I'm going to take the 4 cheeses that I have produced over the last round, turn those in, and now I'm going to show you guys again, right over here. I know it's a little fuzzy. There you go.
All
it
right.
is 4
cotton
cheeses, so I'm going to get 4 cotton.
So I'm going to move the cotton in 4 spaces. That's done.
And I'm also going to get 2 upgrades.
2 upgrades. And 2 upgrades. Oh, he maxed out his shipping now.
And 10 money.
And 10 money. Okay, turn that base up. It goes next to your area.
That's right there.
Great. All right, great. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and fulfill an export contract as well. It's going to cost me 1 wool, 4 of the whiskey, and that's going to get me 15 coins, which is great. I need money. I'm really hurting for money. It's going to move up the sugarcane 4 spaces, so the sugarcane will move up to the 4, and that completes my 2nd export contract. Your turn.
All right. Quick question. So you can see the board here. Bryn, if I can build anything on here, right? Because it's dual, but I can only build the miner.
That's right. Only a miner there. And since he's out of miners, he cannot build in that space.
Right. So I'm going to produce. Let's see, that's 21. Because again, this turn is about producing. So there we go.
Great.
I'm going to start producing wheat at this point.
Speaking of that, so I'm going to go ahead and build my last distillery now. So I'm building the last distillery. It's going to cost me 4 plus 10 is 14. But because of my clan, I'm going to actually get. It's going to cost 5 less. So it's going to only cost me 9. So I'll build it there. Spend. Actually, you know what I can do? Because I have the shipping, I can actually jump right over here. So it's actually going to cost me 7 because it's only cost 2 on that space.
Right.
So here's a 10. I get back 3. Now here's something cool. I built my final factory on my board, which means I get access to this cool effect down here. So I get to draw 3 export contracts, 1, 2, 3, and I get to look at them. I'm going to pick which one I want. The rest go to the bottom of the stack. And wow, got some good ones here. A bunch that use whiskey, which is what I'm producing right now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the. I sold this milk, by the way.
No.
I don't have that milk. Sorry, keeping milk. I don't have it. All right. I think I'm going to take this one here for 3 whiskey, and it takes a cheese. So as soon as I take that, it has to go onto my board. You know what? Let's actually do the other one. Let's do the one that's got 2 on it, because I think I can finish that a little more quickly. Great. So that's done. These go to the bottom of the stack, and that's the end of that action.
All right. And so what I'm going to do is.
One more thing. I do have to pay for that based on the rounds. I still got to pay 10 coins for it, which I'm going to do. Okay.
So I'm going to spend 20 and build directly across the river to right here. So again, 1, 2, 3,
Great.
or 1, 2, 3, whichever one you want to count.
Okay.
For 18, for 20, so that produces another wheat. All right, Brent, your turn.
Okay, my turn. Okay, great. Well, I know I'm going to be able to produce all the whiskey I need, and I see that there's a couple contracts out there for whiskey, but there's also contracts out there for bread. So it's time to start getting my bread production going. So it's going to cost me 8 for this bread plus 4, but I get a discount of 3. So it's going to cost me 8 plus 1, so 9 coins to build my first bakery, which now is there. And as you see, I built a bakery next to his wheat, and now I can buy wheat from him if I want to for a 2 discount. I don't have any merchants, so I'm not buying anything from you.
All right, so I am going to spend 12 right here to put out a bakery right there.
Okay, great. Okay, so back to me. I've got 25 coins left. I'm gonna get the bread I need. You know, honestly, cows would be really helpful right now for some of the contracts that are out there. So just to give myself a little bit of flexibility. So cow's going to cost me 9. Now I'm going to strategically place this cow so that I can eventually pick it up, so that I can have more settlements. So that being the case, let me put this cow. Looking right here. Actually, I can already jump to here, right? That's already going to be a separate settlement. I think that could work. So let me see here. Is there a better place to put the cow? If I put the cow here, yeah, I can eventually jump there. So these are not. That's whoops. I'm just seeing what's connected right now. They will be as soon as I have 2 ports. So yeah, the cow here would be pretty expensive, but it's going to cost 5 plus 9 is 14. I've got 20, so I get 6 back. And I'm going to actually start producing milk as well. I'm just like Marco now. I get to produce milk too.
All right, and so what I'm going to do is, because Brendan noticed, there's actually a cheaper spot for him to have put that cow.
Oh, yeah?
But
that's too bad.
I missed it. Yeah, he missed it.
Okay.
So I'm going to put a bread out there for 9.
Well, I knew that was there. I just didn't think you'd jump to it.
Why not? Why wouldn't I?
Okay, good point.
All right, I'm going to use that free action.
Okay.
Over there.
Yep. Okay,
so
free action. Oh, you're going to do the port? Okay.
Yep.
Great.
So 3 points and an upgrade.
3 points for blue. 1, 2, 3. So now I'll show you something that we've messed up. Okay, because this happens to us and we're still getting used to it. So usually when I play this game, I play more than 2 players. There's a rule in 2 players that you're supposed to follow that we didn't follow. We haven't followed all game, but I'm going to teach you what that rule is in case you come across it. In a 2-player game, the outside edge of the game board is off limits. It actually doesn't exist, and you'll see there's this like tiny little black line.
That's right.
Around the edges, like it's supposed to represent fog, but it's really, and that's true. There's little fog pieces here that show kind of the edges as well. So I have 2 things that are illegal. He's got 1, but we'll keep playing the way we've been playing. But
it's okay.
It should be a little more interactive, I guess, than it's being since we built further out.
So I don't know if you guys remember before when we had talked about fiddly.
Yeah.
That was a question
we
used
right, yeah.
Last week.
Yep.
This is one of the games that I would say falls into fiddly at times.
There are definitely some rules that apply sometimes and then not other times, and you have to remember that this is a free action, but that's not. So, frankly, a little bit different graphic design or a better memory on my part would have told me that we couldn't build there at 2 players. But
and the thing is that a lot of this, there's no iconography or anything really that tells you, hey, don't forget about this action. Like, I completely forgot about those borders because you can barely see them
they're hard to see.
on the board. That's right. If you look actually on screen right there, that's the line right there. Can you see that from up there?
No, actually. Not at all. So
here. I can't even zoom in.
That's fine. It's fine. But we they get the idea. Right, we're beating it to death. It's actually our fault, but that's fine. That's what happens.
So we're halfway through this turn.
Okay.
And
is it my turn
you know what? We're gonna take a little break.
Oh wait, you know what? We're almost done. I'll pass and then it's done.
Let's take a 3-minute break.
3 minute? All right. It's a 3-minute turn.
We're gonna take a 3-minute break. Here is a little clip about. I forget what it was.
It's what's our go-to game.
That's right. What's our go-to game?
Great.
I just need more drink and so does Brent.
All right.
That's
great.
his voice. All right. Here we go.
I'll stop this whole thing if I'm not gorgeous. I will shut it down.
Yes, I know you did. I was trying to answer, you wouldn't let me.
Are you saying I talk over you?
You were trying to right now.
I always talk over you.
All right.
My go-to game, like for instance, I'm at any gathering, right? And I can bring out a game, and I'm always interested in playing it, and I think I can get people to play it with me.
Right.
It's gonna be Codenames. Absolutely Codenames. Yep.
All right. So my go-to game, I would have to say, is Catan. And the only reason for it is, I guess, because of the fact that I came back to the board game, hobby because of it, that it's a game that I can, come back to in a month, maybe 2 months, or in a week or so, and be like, you know what? I really am craving playing Catan.
So 2000, was it 16 that came out? I can't remember, but that Super Party game from Czech Games it did what no game should do. I hate party games. I love Codenames, and I think it's just the fact that it appeals to so many people. It makes people laugh. It's a lot of fun.
It's a game that is, it's random, but you have a lot of decisions how you're going to build roads, cities, little townships. You're going to use the robber to screw over your friends, and no one likes it, but hey. I like to be that bastard.
So my favorite part of playing Codenames is playing the Spy Master. As a Spy Master, I get to try to figure out which words I'm going to give as clues that actually connect to the words on the table, right? To help my team win. And I think the most fun part about it is coming up with really obscure, crazy stuff that no one's ever heard of usually, but connects 4 words together. And while sometimes my people playing with me were like, what are you doing? What is this word? Not everybody understands Greek mythology, Bran. So
they sell like so many different types of Catan now. Like the Star Trek Catan, Star Wars Catan, Pirates Catan.
But to me, it's like I get a kick out of it because there's some people I play with and they just get me. It's like I'll throw out some obscure thing. It's dinner 4, and suddenly everyone they got it all. So to me, it's never a chore. It's always fun. It's a great filler game. It's also a great game to end your evening with. I always have a copy on me, that and Teachu, right? So Teachu's less appealing to people, but Codenames is definitely my go-to game.
Settlers of Zarhemla, Catan Jr., Settlers of Canaan, Starfarers of Catan, the Kids of Catan. At this point, I think there's maybe a Batman Catan, maybe a Marvel.
There should be.
Maybe a Marvel or NDC Catan, and if there isn't, there should be. Oh my God, there's so many. And we're back. We're having a little difficulty real quick on here on our personal cam.
That's all right, because I can still show you what I'm about to do for my next turn. And my turn's pretty easy here. So I'm going to go ahead and build a cheese factory because I want to turn that milk into cheese. And I'm going to put that right here on that space. So it's going to cost me
You
3.
still breaking the rules?
No, I can jump. Yeah, we're breaking the rules the rest of this game. That's what's happening. So there we go. So it's going to cost me 3 plus 8. But I get a $3 discount because of my clan, so it's actually going to just cost me 8, which I have here. I'll get 2 money back. It gives me 3 left. I'm probably passing on my next turn, but let me kind of give you a rundown of what's about to happen or what I'm trying to accomplish here. So what I'm hoping to do is be able to create a couple more settlements around the edges here and hopefully beat Marco in his settlement count. So, because next turn, at the beginning of next turn, we're going to go ahead and count the settlements since it matters for the final round of the game. Other places I can get settlements built are possibly up here, although I don't have a forester anymore, so I can't do that. If you guys can see where my finger is. But I could get one over here as well, and possibly even if I can get one here, that'd be great to jump here and then jump this way, actually jump around these corners. So we're going to make sure the camera is set up, and it looks like it's pretty close to being set up. And that looks pretty good to me.
All right.
So we just got to get it turned on. Is it?
Yeah, it's on.
It's on? All right, great. So so now it's going to be Marco's turn. I just went ahead and built my cheese factory over here. It was next to his bread factory, which I would normally be able to take advantage of and buy bread, but again, I have no more merchants because I made a cardinal mistake and didn't buy enough merchants early in the game.
All right. So, Sean, I do want to say, yeah, I mean, it is barely visible. So here we go, continuing on. Now I have a whole bunch of actions I can do since we're going to still continue to cheat.
Just cheat. We're doing it. We're all in. We teach you how to play the game wrong.
That's right.
So that you can learn it, so you can do it right.
I'm going to build another cow. That's going to cost me 10.
Building another cow, all right.
Right across.
Okay.
And I still have 9 money left. And what can I do?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take my final turn, which is going to be to pass. So I'll go ahead and collect my 16 coins. And I'm going to go ahead and start producing now, so.
Actually, no. Oh, no, it's cost me stuff.
40 coins? 1, 2.
Oh.
3,
I'm not going to do anything else.
40 turns?
All right, so.
So you're passing as well?
I'm passing
Go ahead and collect your 13 coins for passing. I'm producing right now, so let me go and get all my stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get, and I'll show you here again. I'm going to get a wool. I'm going to get milk. I'm going to get 2 more wheat. 2 more wheat. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn this stuff into things. So I'm going to turn this milk into cheese. I'm going to turn this wheat into bread. I'm going to turn these 4 wheat into 4 barrels of whiskey. So now I've got quite a bit of stuff here to deal with. And we'll do points in just a moment, once you're ready.
All right.
He's trying to sell this. That he's going to sell it as milk or not.
Right.
Because we're going to have one more turn for export contracts, and if we don't have the goods now, we'll never have them. Well, unless we buy them from the market. So he's right now collecting all of his stuff, getting his money. I'm going to go and get my workers back from the market. Okay, so I can have my merchants back who sell things for me. And we're going to get points in just a second here. So actually, let's go ahead and I'll see if I can switch it over to this, like that. I'm learning how this camera stuff works. I'm not good at it. So I'm going to show you what I got here. So for every good I produce, I gain a coin. I gain a victory point. And the number of goods I produce are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll gain 10 goods, so that's 10 points for me. So I'll go from 19 to 29. Okay, I'm just going to look at Marco's screen and calculate up his points real quick. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 13. So he's, there we go, 13. So 1, 2, 3. He's actually at 35. So because he's at 35, he's going to take a 30-point victory token, and he's going to go with his area over here. So we can see he's got 30 points. Great, so that's it for scoring for that round. I'm going to flip over this token, and since there's no export contracts to refill, that's it. So for the final round, we're going to score 2 points. We're going to score 3 points for every 2 refined goods we have left in our inventory. Now, this is interesting because after we score this for the round, we'll then have then we'll do final scoring of the whole game, in which each of these are actually worth 2 points each. So it's kind of a double benefit right now to keep these in your inventory at the end that you don't use on export contracts. So.
All right.
Great.
All right.
So are you done with your massive production phase?
Yes, I am.
Oh my goodness. So Marco, I want you to use the camera here. Good point on the detail camera here. I'm going to move my resources out of the way. Now I want you to see something. Here's my money. Marco, why don't you show your money?
All right, hold on. Let me get another 10. So this is all without my 5s and everything.
So yeah, he's kind of crushing me, all right. And so he's going to be able to do a lot this last turn. I don't think I have much of a chance, but I do start the game, and I'm going to start it strong. So let's go ahead and get a miner out right now, because what I'm really trying to do is bounce around the map a bit. Actually, that's 2 rounds in. He can probably build before I can, because even if I build here, he might go ahead and just build right here. So, and then prevent me from getting another settlement that I so desperately want. So, so I have a backup plan, and that is going to be, I need to get just more producing stuff out. You know, if I can make more goods. I'm only going to get 2 wheat. I do really do need another wheat farm. Let's do that. So this is 18 plus 6. 18 plus 6 is 24. That's going to be a whole lot of my money. 24. But I've got more production at this point. So that's what I built there. And the reason I built that there is because now I can either jump here or here for an extra settlement. He can't stop me both places. He can stop me one place if he even cares to.
You know, in all honesty, I don't, because he's got, what is that, 8 now?
Hey,
or 7? And I have 11.
You know what? Let's actually count how many settlements we have.
I was just doing that.
So here we go. I'm going to count mine. I've got 1. This is connected by water. 2, 3. It's a huge one. 4, 5. And then these aren't technically connected yet. They're connected to each other, but I need at least 2 spaces. So I'm actually right now at 5. Max I could be is at 7. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to show you guys how this works. So these little hex tokens that we see here are actually meant to track the last round, to track how many settlements you're at. And I'm at 5 right now. All right.
All right, so you ready for my counting?
Yeah, let's do your counting, okay?
All right, so we have to start up here because I get lost if I don't. 1, 2,
okay.
3,
Okay.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put this thing at 11. So I'm not getting that reward. And that's how that's going to go. So here we go. Back to, I built my turn. It's your turn to build now. So, my goodness. That's 18 points. That's going to be yours.
Yes. Since we're still, as Sean say, we're just role-playing drunk. We're not cheating. So I'm going to build right there. Okay. Again, another separation, so I'm going to be at 12.
Another settlement, so I'm going to move him up to 12 now. I'm going to start tracking this now.
All right, and that is going to cost me 9.
9, huh? Okay, great. Well, let's see. What have I got in the way of contracts? This is going to be challenging here. So I really need to get another... Let me see here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to make another bread thing, so I'll go ahead and make that here. I can jump over here. It's going to give me another settlement. It's going to cost me 3 plus 8 is 11, but minus 4 because of the bonus. It's only cost me $7 to do, so I'll go ahead and pay that. And that gives me, like I said, another settlement that's connected. But the big thing I can do now is not that yet, but I can later. I got access to the port bonus now, which is what I wanted.
And again, since we're cheating, another 9. This is going right there.
Oh, he took it from me.
Oh, I did it. Oh, yes, I did. I did do it.
All right. Okay,
What
great.
is he going to do now?
And what am I going to do?
I don't know.
Who knows? All right. So I'm going to fulfill this export contract. So it's going to cost me 2 beer to do it. So 2 beer goes away. I'm going to move the tobacco up 2 spaces. So tobacco's up 2 now. And I'm going to gain 10 coins for that action. So I'll gain my 10. And now I will go ahead and let's see if there's something out there that's better that I've got. Yeah. Oh, wait. It's your turn.
All right. Cool. So I'm going to keep on building because I have the money to.
Okay.
So I am going to spend 3.
You definitely have the
Because right now it's, for the last turn, it is 3 points for every 2 resource. Again, we'll take a look at that. As you can see, every refined resource is 2 points.
Okay.
Right now I am making 4, and I'm about to make 4.
All right.
More, so that's 8.
Okay.
So let's go back to here, and I'm going to build a cheese for here, another new settlement.
So when we get 13.
So 11.
Right? This is just getting ridiculous at this point.
Why not?
Why
if I can do it,
why not? You got
I'm
it.
going to do it.
That's great. All right, so back to me. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and take an easy contract that I know I can complete right now. This is a nice easy one. It's gonna cost me 15 this round to take it, so it's very expensive to take this contract. But I'm gonna take this export contract, go ahead and put it into my area. Now, even though I have the goods to complete it right now, I can't do it immediately. It's a separate action, so I'm done.
What is out there? I haven't think about looking.
Now he's looking. So you'll know I have 4 export contracts already. I have 3. I'm about to have the 4th one,
right.
So I probably got the bonus of 8 points for.
That's true.
Oh, actually, it's only 12 for settlements, so it's not as bad for me as it was. I thought it was 18. I think it's 18 in the 3 and 4 player game.
Right.
So yeah, okay, great.
So. And there's 0 points for that, so there's really no point for me to even consider going to contracts.
Shouldn't even consider it.
Unless it's going to give me more points in some way.
Just quit now.
Let's discuss real quick what all gives us points. at the end game.
Okay. Actually, okay. What all gives us points at the end game? I'm going to go through it really quick. First of all, wherever you're at on the glory track, okay. Clearly, we're going to gain 1 point per basic good we have left. We're going to gain 2 points per advanced good we have left. We're going to gain 1 point for every 10 money, and money is tiebreakers. And then the big points come from the hops that are on our export contracts, and from our tobacco, sugar, and what's the other one? Tobacco, sugar, and cotton that's on our export contracts. That's where most of the points come from. Then finally, person with the most contracts, and then person with the most settlements.
Right.
Connected settlements will get points as well.
All right. So
Great.
now knowing that,
Okay.
we're gonna go back to the board, and I'm gonna put out another wheat. So that's gonna cost me. What is this gonna cost me?
Who knows?
It's gonna cost me 21
21? Okay.
to build it right there.
All right. Is that another? You
Yep.
got another one? Wow, he's just kidding. He's got all the settlements. Okay.
Another.
All right, so my turn here. All right, I'm going to fulfill this contract. That's going to give me, go ahead and use these 3 goods to complete it. That's going to use the whiskey, the cheese, and the bread. And that's going to move up the tobacco 3 spaces. Now, this is kind of cool. If you show this board, I'm going to show something here. Now, another little, I think it's fiddly, but you'll see these little $1 and it shows the cotton, the tobacco, and the sugar. Whenever a player causes this to cross that line, which I'm doing right now, I'm moving it up 3. 1, 2, 3. That player gets 1 coin. Now, it's a lot of memory, I feel like, to remember to do that for 1 coin. But hey, I got my 1 coin. And the rules actually say if you forget about it, you can't go back and get it. So even the rules recognize that you might forget that
Right.
you exist, which I don't know that that's necessarily a good sign. Either way, moved up 3 there. I'm also going to get 10 coins for this contract, and I'll show the contract in my player board here. So I moved up the 3. What's it called? The 3 tobacco. I'm going to get 2 upgrades and 10 coins. So I'm going to go ahead and get those. 10 coins coming my way. And as far as the 2 upgrades go, I'm going to upgrade my port by 1, which actually finally connects my settlements. Yay! So I actually got 2 more settlements out of that, which doesn't really matter that much. And I'm going to grab another merchant. So now I have 3 merchants. And that's my upgrade.
All right.
Okay, your turn.
So I'm gonna keep on building because why not?
Why not?
I'm gonna start building some whiskey here.
Okay. It's called expanding.
Yes, I'm gonna constantly
Just keep on expand.
It's gonna cost me 14. Put it right here.
Okay, great. All right, my turn?
Yep.
Okay, so now I'm gonna, before I even take my action, I'm gonna use this port action here. It's gonna get me, this port action gets me 5 coins, since I'm within range of it now. And I get to draw 3 export contracts and then get to choose one of them. I don't have to choose one of them, but I get to look at it. What I'm looking for specifically is things that need beer. And what have I got here? I've got 2 sheep and a beer, sheep and a wool, which I actually have the sheep and a wool. The problem I've got is that it focuses me so much in this particular resource. What's it called? The tobacco. The tobacco is worth the least right now because it's not very high. It's because it's so high. But moving cotton up 4 might be really useful for me. That requires 3 bread. I don't have 3 bread. So the best thing I can do is either this one or this one. One of them lets me build a free thing. Let's do the two sheep because I think I can get the sheep down and pull them both. That's so expensive. You know what? Let's do this basic one here. I'm going to take this one here. These go at the bottom. You know what? I wasn't even showing you guys what I was looking at, but I'm going to show you what I've got. So this is going to cause me to have to sacrifice my 1 sheep, but I will get another tobacco point. I'll get to build a free space. That's kind of cool. I get to actually do a free expand, which means put a building down. It still costs money for the building, but it costs 0 for the space. And then, of course, I'll get 3 hops, which is 3 points at the end. So that's my new contract. And that's not an action. That was my bonus here. So I'm going to go ahead and fulfill it right now by spending that and sacrificing my 1 sheep that's out there, which drops back here, which now that goes away. The sheep goes away. I fulfill another export contract. We're going to move up tobacco 1 more space. And I now get to build something for, quote unquote free. So let's find something expensive, like a big 6, and put some resources on it. So this is going to cost me 18 to put down one of these. That's one of these guys here. It's going to cost me 18, and it's free wherever I place it. So I just got to find a place that I want it. That's not too bad. I'll place it way over there, and maybe that might stop him getting another contract. Or actually, right here looks pretty good actually, because that lets me buy a bunch of things, which is great. So that's going to cost me 18, so I get back 2. And now I've got to do the neighboring actions, which is I can buy milk. But I don't care about milk at all. Milk does a body good. That's what it does. Milk doesn't do anything towards the contract. So what I really need to do is end up by one of your bakeries. Do you have a bakery that I can end up next to?
Not near you. Actually...
Right there, I do. So let's get near this bakery. Okay? I'll build there instead. And it was free, the same cost anyway. But now I can decide if I want to buy wheat or bread. And every contract down here needs bread of some sort. So let me go ahead and buy 2 bread from you. Now the buying of bread actually is -3 to the cost. So instead of costing 10, it's going to cost 7. So that costs me 14 to do. Unfortunately, if I do that, I don't have enough money to be able to do it, to be able to buy another contract. So I'm still going to do it. Here's 14, all gone. 14 for 2 bread. I'll get back.
There you go. He's
hard.
Trying to win.
It's the end of the game,
but he realizes he's already lost.
I think that I think he's right. So okay, there's the 14. I put in the 15. I think I get 1 back. Yes. So yeah, great. I've got 2 bread here. I'm done. Okay.
So I'm gonna put another barrel out. It's gonna go here for 10.
Okay.
See how quick my turns are?
That was really easy, right? Well, that's the thing about it. When you trigger the extra actions over and over again, it can mess things up.
Oh, by the way, I'm now gonna do this as a free action. So what does this mean?
So that means you just gain 10 coins.
That's it?
That's it. Just straight up gain 10 coins for being there.
So basically the money I just spent, I just got right back.
That's great. All right, well, I need to sell something here, so let's go ahead and that's not going to let me do anything, not going to let me finish the game the way I want to. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 more coins. It doesn't make sense to sell that. I can't get another contract as much as I wanted to with 7 coins. So let's do this instead. Let's go ahead and use these 7 to build one more thing. Is there anything I can build for 7? It doesn't look like it. So unless I want to sell something and have more money, I think my turn is over. I think my game is over. It's all over. The game's over. Let me think here. If I go and spend the 4 coins I can get on the merchant, which will let me sell 2 things, the best thing I can sell is the whiskey, which would give me $24 for selling the whiskey. It's not terrible. $24 would enable me to get another contract. But the problem is I wouldn't have any more people. Oh, we'll try it anyway. Let's do it. I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna buy another merchant for 4, and that's my turn.
All right. So I'm gonna expand for an 11. Put this right here.
Okay.
Actually, just might as well just do 12, 13. So I get that back. All right. Go ahead.
Great. So right now, if I end up selling these 2 beer, because of the way the points are at the end, I'll lose 7 points at the end of the game. Doing that. Conversely, if I take this card, it's worth 3 plus what's 2 times 3, 6, 7, 8. So it's actually worth 8 if I do it. It's going to cost me 15 plus another 4 for another merchant, plus the cost of that, so 5. So it's going to cost me 24. It'll cost me exactly what I'm about to get from the sale. I think I'm going to do that.
All right.
So let's do it. How much money do you have left over there?
I have 18. Exactly.
Since I'm telegraphing my turn, are you going to buy the contract out from under me?
No.
Okay, because that's about all I can do. I'm going to go ahead and sell my 2 whiskeys. That's gonna go ahead and send those away. Use my 2 merchants that sold the whiskeys right here to get 24 coins back. And it is now your turn.
All right. So what I'm gonna do this turn, and it might sound surprising, is I'm gonna spend 12 money to buy a whiskey barrel. With this
merchant, you bought a whiskey?
Yep.
Okay, it's gonna cost 10 actually for you.
Oh, okay.
Because he waited the right time. It was actually cheaper for him.
So I get 2 back.
All right, my turn. I'm gonna go ahead and spend 5 to get 1 back and get another merchant out. Need another merchant out. So, okay.
And let's see, I have 8 left.
Oh, I get to explain something new in the rules. Another little fiddly rule.
Okay,
here we go.
Let's just put you on the main thing.
Fiddly rule here. Fiddly rule. Okay, so remember, it just saw me a moment ago that I bought a merchant for 4. What I could have done instead of buying a merchant is I could have taken a merchant back off the board to put it back in my tableau to use. I imagine that's useful if you've bought all your merchants, or maybe strategically if you want to remove all your guys from a purchase spot so you can then sell it later.
Wait. What's that?
Yeah, I know. I literally read this
Hold
today. I literally read this today. You can when you buy a merchant upgrade or get a tech upgrade, you can, instead of buying a merchant off your mat, you can actually take one off the merchant track that you've already used and put it back in your available merchant spot. I just want to say that's something you can do. Okay, cool.
All right, back to the merchant board because
great.
Bryn's about to go.
Okay, great.
You built.
Yeah, I just built a merchant, so what's your turn?
All right, you know what I'm going to do? At this point, I am going to pass.
You're not making enough stuff?
No, there's no point for me to make any more stuff.
Okay, great. So you're going to get... Oh, you're going first for the first time ever. Okay, you get 16 points.
16 points.
That's right, 16 coins.
Which already...
I'm going to go ahead and finish up my turn then while he's doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and buy... I need to buy a wool. They cost 5 right now to purchase. That's going to raise the price of the wool, but I'm going to go ahead and spend the 5. It gives me 50, I get 5 back, and gives me a wool, which lets me now, on my turn, I'm going to buy this contract, which is going to cost me 15, which is, there's more money. Here's this contract over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and fulfill the contract, which is the 2 bread and the wool for the contract. That actually cost me a whole lot of points doing that.
Yep.
Because of the last round. Oh, well, I did it. I messed it up. I didn't need that at all. Boy, that costs a lot of points. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move up the sugarcane too. And I can't build anything, even though it's a free build, because I only have 3 coins. It will be 3 points for hops, but yeah, I was calculating the cost of selling the barrels of whiskey. I didn't calculate the fact that I'd be also getting rid of my bread.
That's right.
Which was another 7 points. So I've net lost 6 points on that go. All right, I'm going to pass now 2 for 13 coins. And we're going to finish our final production, which does matter because of the points and how they work out. So
Bryn's going to show you his production. Okay. I'm going to do mine by myself.
Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and get my milk here. I'm going to go ahead and get 6 wheat, which I'm about to use it all, but I'm going to show you anyway. Actually, you know what I can do? I can grab, can you give me that 4 up there? Right. So the game actually has these little tokens like this one that says 4 wheat, and I get 2 more, so there's my 6 wheat. And I go ahead and collect my money, which is 40 coins. 3 and 40 coins. Okay, great. And I'm going to convert this 6 wheat into, as you say, I can make 2 bread and 4 whiskey. So let me go ahead and make 4 whiskey and 2 bread. And all this wheat goes away. And that milk becomes a cheese, which is great. So that's my total production at the end. Done with production? Okay.
Oh no, I need to get my money now.
Okay, great. Get your money, and then we're gonna do scoring now. So. Do you have what contract do you have that you've completed? A contract for cotton?
Just one for cotton.
Not only did that. I gotta tell you guys something. Okay, we show the scoring board.
All right, hold on.
That last contract that I went on my way to get moved the sugar up. Now it's in the 2nd position, making cotton more valuable. He's the only one with a cotton contract. That's it.
All right, Mike.
So here I just made it more valuable for you. Okay, let's do final score.
Real quick, Mike. Yeah, I'm glad you've had a blast with this game. We have had it too. We've played it 4, 3, and 2 players.
That's right, yeah.
And it's been really fun every time.
I enjoy the heck out of the game. Yeah.
Now I will say this game doesn't bring anything new to the table.
For you?
In essence, yes. I mean, these are mechanics that we already know. Mm-hmm. But it melds them together so well that it's very enjoyable to play.
It's an enjoyable game. It's nice and peaceful. And then, yeah, even though there's nothing about it particularly that goes, wow, this is just the game I absolutely have to play. I have never not enjoyed this game, and I would definitely continue to play it. So, all right. So for final scoring, let's point on the board. Right. We got it here. Okay, great. So now we're gonna get 3 points for every 2 goods in our. That's
another thing you didn't notice I was doing.
No, I saw. It's all over for me. But it's for every 3 points for every 2. So for me, I've got a total of 7, which 7 doesn't count, so it's 6 of them. Which is divided by 2 is 3. 3 times 3, I get 9 points for mine. So instead of being at 29, I'm going to be at 38, which means now I have my 30-point token. Okay. How many do you get?
Okay, so I have 18 goods.
18 goods divided by 2 is
9. 9 times 3.
27?
27 points.
27 points. So that's going to put you at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to put you at another 32, which go ahead and flip your thing over from a 30 to a 60. Okay. Great, and that takes care of that. Now we're doing end game scoring. And end game scoring, now there's no point in keeping track of this. We're going to do it right here on our handy little map. Little map here. So if I
show it again, wasn't fully on.
You know what I don't have? I don't have a pencil.
Bring it down. There you go.
Yep.
So as you can see, it shows everything.
I don't have a pencil, but I do want to show you scoring at least for, you know what, let's start showing scoring all the way. So I'm going to move this out of the way. This doesn't really matter that much anymore. Just the goods do. And we're going to bring out a pencil to be able to do this really quick. Let's see what I've got. Pen or pencil, either way. So show you what we're going to be scoring for. First of all, I will be scoring 38 points from my glory. Okay, so that would normally go there, 38. Now for each basic good, I get one more. I have no basic goods in my supply, so that's still 38. I get 2 per super good, per the bonus good. So let's go ahead and do this. You actually probably write easier over there. So,
all right, so
38 for my glory. 0 for bonus goods. I've got 7 of those times 2, so 14 points for that. As far as money goes, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 50 coins, which is worth 5 points. Okay, and now hops. Now this is where this matters. Let me show you all of these. Okay, so now we count up all the hops I've got. I've got 3, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 14 points in hops. They're always worth 1 point. Okay, now so for cotton. I have no cotton, so go ahead and score me 0 for cotton. Now let's count it. I've got actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 total tobacco. Now tobacco on the game board, we need to show this too. Tobacco on the game board is in the top position, so it's worth the least. It's only worth 3 points each. So 3 times 8 means I'll gain 24 points from tobacco. And now for sugarcane, I've got 2 plus 4, so that's 6 sugarcane. And sugarcane's in the second position, so it's worth 4. So I get 24 points for sugarcane. Okay, so I get 0. The final thing, and let's go ahead and show this to you as well. Let me move this over now that we've done all that. I'm going to gain 0 points because I don't, that's the most contracts. I have the most contracts, so I'll go ahead and gain 8 from that. And 0 because I have the least number of settlements. Okay, so Marco, you want to go and do yours?
All right, so for me, I have 60, how many? 62?
Yeah, you can add that up. I'm going to grab my little calculator on the side.
So 62 points, 0 for this. Now it's 2 for every, or for...
It's 1 for each basic good. It's 2 for each advanced good.
Okay, so 18, so that's another 36 points. Money-wise, what I have... Again, we're just going to show you here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 80 money, so I get 8 points there. I get 0 for this, and 5 for every cotton I have.
So 20 for cotton.
So 20 for cotton. 0, 0, 0, and 12.
12, great. So if you'll read me your final points, I'm gonna calculate them up. Go ahead. 62 plus what?
62, 36, 8, 20, and 12.
12, okay. Great, let me sum those up real quick. And that's going to be 138 points for you. How many did I get?
Alright, so that's mine.
Yeah.
For Brian, we have 38, 14, 5, 14, 24, 24, and 8.
Okay, so let's sum it up. Let's see how badly you beat me.
I think this game's a lot closer than I thought.
127. So fortunately, my last minute actions didn't lose me the game, but boy, that came close. I actually lost the game by 11. That was only a 6-point swing that I cost myself at the end. So actually, it was more than that. It was 6 plus giving you 4 more points. So it was 10. You would have still beaten me by 1 point, even if I had not done that whole craziness I did at the end.
So as you can see, this game, it's very fun. There's a lot of scoring, and it can really swing on if you're doing contracts or not.
That's right. I mean, all my points came from contracts. That's what I was focusing on. But man, you did a great job, dude.
Well, thank you. That's 2 games in a row I have beat Brent at, which is not very often that happens.
So we're 2-2 on this live stream.
We are.
Maybe we should start keeping track of it. You want to do some betting?
Yeah. I mean, who out there wants to do a little bet with us? Who's going to end up by the end of this year with the most wins? All right, well, this was episode 4 with Clans of Caledonia. Next week, we're going to be doing Yokohama.
Yokohama, that's right.
Yeah, Yokohama.
Yeah.
One of Bryn's favorite games.
Absolutely one of my favorite games.
We cannot stop playing it with it.
I'm definitely going to win.
Yes.
You should bet on me.
That one he is definitely going to win on.
But here's some more good news. Not only are we doing Yokohama next week, but that's setting up right before Geekway for the West. I will be at Geekway to the West in St. Louis that upcoming weekend. So look for me in the crowd. Come find us. I'll be with Doomsday Robots, actually.
Right.
As we're showing off our new game, Bridges to Nowhere. So.
All right, and 2 weeks after that, or 3, BGG-Con.
It's the very next week.
Right, and we at TLDR and me with It's Your Turn.
That's right.
We'll be over at BGG Spring. So hopefully we'll
Dallas,
see you there.
yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you there here in Dallas. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.